Ladies and gentlemen, good Wednesday morning, final day. Well, I guess we're leaving at the crack of dawn tomorrow to head back to God's waiting room. So, but last full day here in Oxford, saying goodbye to our girl tonight. So we'll be back home tomorrow, and then a day and a half later, we're jumping on a plane to take Jack back out to Colorado. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Hey, before I forget. We are our end of August retreat is full, so no more folks for our ceremony at the end of the month. Really looking forward to it. Got a awesome group: veterans, first responders, family members, civilians. Good solid group. Now, this will interest a lot of you. Mitch, I don't know if you're in here. And a couple of other folks. So September 25 to 27, this is a world breaking news. We are introducing our next sacrament, our newest sacrament, which we're going to talk about in a couple minutes. 5-MeO DMT, our Bufo. So we have a incredible practitioner coming to serve the sacrament, and a couple of our stewards are getting up to speed to serve it. So and max of 10, just based on the time. If you guys aren't, you all are familiar with my 5-MeO. Wow, it is the most powerful entheogen on the planet. It was the most incredible experience of my existence, period. Uh, it's just, you guys know my story by now. So if you're interested, you can, because we will stop at, like I said, at 10, because the place doesn't hold more than that. So that's our retreat center taps out, especially with our facilitators. So if 5-MeO DMT as a sacrament appeals to you, shoot me an email. And I'll turn you over to Susie and Teresa and get you in the pipeline. I'm really excited for that. It's going to be so powerful. It's just, and I'm letting you all know too. And if folks have already been on a retreat like our psilocybin Sacramento folks, or we have some of those folks, like, wow, that calls to me. So let me know, and we'll press forward. Okay, for all the free men, since I don't have time to do a market intel brief on the road, going to spend most of the day with our daughter and finish up the shopping and getting the dorm room ready. So this technically is going to serve as our market intel brief for all the free folks on YouTube. Next Wednesday night, get back from Colorado, and we're actually coming back up to Ole Miss for bid day. So living on an airliner. But next Wednesday night at 7 Eastern, I'm going to open the doors to our tactical trade alert service, man. We've been breaking a lot of stuff, breaking news and trades in that tactical trade alert service. So if you want to join me next Wednesday night to brief you on that, 7 Eastern. So if you're over on YouTube, go.topgunoptions.com/tactical-alerts-register. Okay. And you get access to our Bullish on Merica, our psychedelic report, and the AI sector report. I'm going to update the AI sector report because after taking a break yesterday and reading the Nvidia heads of the five families financing thing, I'm going to go on record right now and saying this. It's 2008. It's bad. It's bad. What? The heads of the five families, six families, the Blackstone, the Goldman, everything like that. I have serious 2008 vibes. We'll dig into the details in a couple minutes here, but folks, I feel it. Can be completely wrong, but you guys know me. I don't care I can be wrong and make a ton of money. I've made so much money in my life in markets being wrong, and I love it. But it doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong. We can still make money off of it. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. If you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right, here we go. Um, the embarrassment of what's going on with Iran continues. Uh, so the softliners are out in the military and the hardliners. We won. We stood up to the great Satan and we beat him. We can outlast him. Uh, that's awful. So they're rejecting a push for peace narrative. The hardliners have taken control. That's awesome. That's great. So we replace the hardliners with harder liners. Pakistan's pushing for peace talks. I don't trust Pakistan as far as I can throw them. Awful country and people. I flew in the back of a Pakistani F-7 out of Mazroor Air Base and almost died. What a that was the scariest flight of my life. Anyway, we blew up a ship yesterday or disabled one, trying to breach the Iran blockade, and shipping attacks escalate in the region. The Houthis killed folks. This is part of. The media is not covering this. Those are three civilians. How many civilians have these radical Islamic terrorists killed in the past 6 months? These are civilian mariners, man. This is the Edmund Fitzgerald. These are dudes with wives and kids and families, and these are able-bodied seamen on these boats trying to make a living, sending their money home on these long cruises, and they're civilians, and they're being killed by radical Islamic terrorists. So this is bad. So the president didn't see any of this coming. I know Raising Cane most likely did. And it's so funny, man, because I keep hearing well, we're going to hit him with the biggest sanctions. Nobody's done sanctions like this. Believe me, we have for 47 years, Mr. President. So, and it's never worked. Roaches adapt. Roaches and Twinkies and these radical Islamic terrorists will survive a nuclear blast, man, because they're scum. It's a death cult, folks. This is not a religion. It is a death cult. When your so-called religion believes that you can leave your lane of religion and beliefs and go kill others and cut their heads off and kill them because they don't believe in what you believe in, that ain't a religion anymore. And we're going to fight. But apparently we're not. So they're used to this survival economy. I saw some of the tweets yesterday and today, like from the president or one of the hardliners, like, is this a joke? Are you kidding me? Have you not seen us for the past 47 years? There's nothing you can do to hurt us. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the mullahs and the generals, they know where their next meal's coming from on the backs of these people. So they're not worried. All we have to do is not die. And I don't know what Netanyahu's waiting for with the Mossad and doing what they do best, but they win by not super losing, and they're not super losing. So they can hang out in a bunker and get meals and get a paycheck. Everybody else doesn't. When you're fighting an enemy that doesn't care about, first of all, human life to begin with, let alone their own people's lives, they're going to win. I'm not going to get on my rant again, but we haven't engaged in a war since World War II. Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan were not wars. Anything that lasts that long and you're fighting with one or both hands tied behind your back is not a war. If anything, I remember them, calling, as a student of history, Korea was a police action. That's great. Well, we can't call it a war because only Congress can declare war. Yeah, well, maybe we should get back to doing that. So anyway, but I have to brief you on it because that's when I look over here at the chart and go, the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, blowing up ships, killing mariners, commerce is impacted. It has to be. And then we get an inflation report. I'm like, what am I missing? And then I have to give me my wizisms back to me. The market only cares when it cares, right? Doesn't care, does not care right now. So trade the market you have with, not the one you want. Again, I don't want a down market. I don't like people losing money. But if you want a friend, get a dog. I'm glad that people lose money because they're stupid that they're not here at Top Gun Options. That's their fault. If you can't make money as the market's going down, you're an idiot, not the market. So here we are. But you guys know me. Whenever I say I can't believe we're up here, usually you get that, and that. So I was 4 out of 5 for bearish trades in the past month and a half. I sat here and wrote all that down. I'm like, that was pretty good. Yeah, 4 out of 5 of the trades made money, which is solid. At the end of the day, technically, I wouldn't have had a problem if 5 out of 5 didn't, because you don't lose money on a trade. If 5 out of 5 had quote lost money, we wouldn't be looking at any of this chop. We would have been going straight up and to the right, and my longs would have been crushing it. So remember, folks, that's how you trade, man. So okay, moving on to the headline this morning. Boom, inflation 3.4% in July, down slightly from the previous month, essentially in line. I'm going to say in line, but here's the headline, right? Cooled. Whoa. Wow. Um, and the fact that it cooled and we're not having a rip your face off rally right now is interesting to me. And the market, watching the Manny Mo and Jack on CNBC this morning, we've already moved on. Like, hey, there was the print from Rick Santelli. Okay, now nobody really cares about this because it's Jackson Hole. We got 2 weeks to J Hole, and that's what. If the inflation had been hot this morning, that CNBC and all the financial media had stories ready to go, cooked, like, oh my God, Trump this and inflation that and war, and he's awful. Now that it was in line or a little cooler, they went, oh, well, that was a non-report anyway. It's all Jackson Hole. Okay, man, I get it. The market's never present; it's always forward-looking. But it was just funny this morning. I'm like, you guys are lucky it wasn't hot, or I really don't care. It's exactly right. It was oil, and we had peace and everything like that. But now we don't have peace, or we have something, and oil. But crude's at $82, 82.77. So we'll think. Price increases have cooled off since the searing inflation. We're still talking about COVID, man. 6 years later, they still throw out the C word in polite conversation about the market. Fauci, what a disgusting human being. Here's that's the real headline, is the Iran whiplash, man. I mean, we're stop and go progress, eased gasoline prices, and then now we're ripping again, and now we're easing again. I just don't, whatever. The headline to take away from this is the Fed might have air support not to raise rates in September. I didn't look this morning yet to see what the Fed funds futures rate would be to see if we're going to get a hike. Well, let me steal what they said this morning. Let's move to Jackson Hole, and that's all that the market cares about right now. Okay, so sit up straight. Even though this is more solo AI-ish, our Monday brief, AI is powering the economy. It's powering GDP. It's powering the world right now. This announcement, now that I had time to sit down and read over a cup of coffee, all of it, it's awful. You can put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This is a lot. Executives involved hail it as a new asset class. Whenever you hear the word new asset class, be very, very afraid. Crypto is a new asset class. NFTs are a new asset class. AI is a new asset class. Folks, it's like the iPhone. As soon as they release the iPhone 32, it's the iPhone 33 is the new. Okay, we're going to dig into this, folks, because this is This isn't as good. That's why I think we're seeing kind of a muted reaction. Like Nvidia should have been ripping with this. Here we go. Jensen is running into a problem. Many of his customers, what? Can't afford to buy your product. So, ladies and gentlemen, whenever people are having problems buying something that's definitely needed, here comes Wall Street with a let's make up stuff. I'm an options trader. Options were made up in the 70s, ladies and gentlemen, right? Calls and then puts. But we've been around for a while. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. 62% probability of no hike. Folks, a week ago, before the inflation and jobs numbers, was what? The other direction. We're getting a rate hike in September. So, and how do I know that? Because I briefed you, like, stand by for the Sept-Oct shit show, the normal mid-September to mid-October shit show. Now that might be delayed. Back to this, because this is huge. I have a lot of customers and they can't afford my product. Maybe your product's overpriced. Here comes Amazon building their own Trainium chips. Anyway, separate conversation. Here we go, because this is about NVIDIA and the heads of the six families. This is why an array of Wall Street firms, 500 billion plan that will theoretically, big word, standardize chip financing. Wait, we're going to be financing the purchase of these assets. Stay with me. Creating an asset-backed pool of capital for AI companies while leaving NVIDIA partially on the hook if things go wrong. You're already seeing it, aren't you? So there's the heads of the six families to launch a new asset class, just like we securitize everything from NFTs to crypto to credit card to mortgage debt. I remember 2008. I was there. To critics, me, it's a system that will cover up weaknesses in some corners of the AR marketplace. The concern isn't about who, say it with me, and I'm furiously left Amazon out of that sentence, with fortress balance sheets. Who wrote this article? You're fired. You're fired. Amazon is the Death Star fortress balance sheet, but I digress. Instead, it is about the who, the smaller AI labs and cloud companies that are doing vaporware, enterprises that have ravenous demand for NVIDIA chips, but face high interest rates if they want to finance the purchase of them. Ladies and gentlemen, how do you finance the purchase of something that is old almost immediately? This is a car. Right? Midlife crisis, Fort Lauderdale, I'm buying a Ferrari. You pull out of the parking lot, it depreciates 50%. But here we go. The AI boom and NVIDIA's financial momentum can't keep up at this blistering pace unless those companies get the product they need. Okay, so here we are. 28-year-old coked out kid at Goldman Sachs. Wait, demand, let's make up something in the middle. Okay, works out great, awesome. If it doesn't, this is the bottom card in the potential AI bubble house of cards. Here we go. Now it's going to be up to Wall Street to convince these debt investors of the merits of the new financing plan. Let's keep going. No money has been raised yet. Exactly. The goal is to sell public and private debt to funds, suckers, insurers, and sovereign wealth funds, among others, and use the proceeds to establish platforms that can swing into action and finance AI chip deals. Folks, these are SPACs or SPVs, right? Special purpose vehicles. Here we go. One challenge, theta. The chips powering data centers become obsolete over time as tech advances. You ready? I love this quote. It's great for NVIDIA, which needs customers who can get access to capital. But if you're a debt investor relying on compute power as your collateral, if I'm financing debt, folks, what backs it? I'm not giving you money what's the asset? Well, this asset, it's an asset that has the shelf life of lettuce. NVIDIA, well, what's the defense to that? No, no, no. Our customers are still using older generation chips, a sign of that our hardware maintains its value long after it's released. Where's all my booger eater TGO members? What's it called? Moore's Law? Every 18 months, computing power like doubles. That law is so old and outdated, it's comical. Like every second, our computing power the AI is going to become self-aware and climb out of this laptop and choke me one day. So, ladies and gentlemen, this it's that's of course Nvidia is going to say this. Folks, how many people right now in this brief are watching on this brief on a Commodore 64? No, man, right? There you go, Charles. That's exactly right. In a TV appearance that we all watch, the extreme supply and demand means that what's the collateral? Well, the collateral is that everybody wants something. Oh my God. Do you? I'm building a court case here, man. If you connect the dots, so let me get one of the things guys like this says is that well, the extreme supply and demand mismatch means they make excellent collateral. Just because everybody wants something doesn't make it. Everybody wanted Cabbage Patch Kids when I was in high school or grade school or whenever that was. And do you want a Cabbage Patch Kid today? This is weird, man. This is a little Han Solo moment for me. I got a bad feeling about this. You ready? Everybody laugh. The exact terms of the AI funding arrangement are vague. Oh, oh boy. And will likely be dictated by what investors will agree to. Here's what I'll agree to. Then those are the terms that will fund you around. Ladies and gentlemen, it was so funny watching the market react and everybody like laugh or praising this. I'm like, what? You ready for this? If a customer defaults, yeah, the thinking goes, a new one will step in quickly. Goes, what if they don't? Did you not read the sentence? A new one will step in. Did you not hear my red team? What if they don't? I mean, I think this article ends with a Michael Berry thing. This is, whew, I just so investing in this instrument could be attractive for a debt investor who thinks the AI industry will continue to grow. I get it. But is concerned about the risk of lending to an individual customer. Wiz AI, I need access to NVIDIA chips. I make no money. Wiz, I love you, but I'm not just investing in just in that. Oh, but SPV backed by Goldman? Sure. You ready? The question that underwriters are going to have to assess that make all this debt stuff is what would happen if it stalls or projects are delayed or canceled? Oh boy. Or this, I already laughed at all you Bitcoin Scientologists. Another risk is if tech breakthroughs by Nvidia, by this company say, yeah, all the debt you guys are sucking on over here is on you know, the Wizium 4000 chip, and the Wizium 4000 chip, is out of date. You just released it yesterday. It's out of date. Exactly, Enron. Here's the copy and paste this, the image. Investors, yay! Investors buy debt, injecting billions in cash into what? An SPV. You guys awake? What's the SPV do? It uses cash to buy equipment. Okay. Then what's it do? It leases the equipment to a customer. Okay. Okay. The customer pays the SPV. Okay. Which goes making money back to hopefully the investors at the beginning. Sit with that. And right next to the chart is what? Nvidia, which has faced criticism for a series of circular funding arrangements where it invests in companies that buys its chips or uses its balance sheet to guarantee their financing, has been looking for other approaches. Here's the other approach, which is the same as it kind of was doing. Yeah, I'm here for it, but I'm not doing my job as your flight instructor if you don't dig. Digging is where a Michael Berry or a Paulson or whoever. This is where you look around and go, man, if the music, I'll dance, but if the music stops, we better have a seat. So this is, I don't think I posted this. Yeah, Michael Burry down here. Structuring credit is a natural part of the system. Duh. Structuring unnatural credits to prolong momentum late in the bull phase is where the worry comes in. He's gotten a bunch of stuff wrong, but obviously people watch movies and you get one massive hit right and you're a genius and then nobody looks at all your other recent crap. So there's that article, folks. I need to save this to TGO because this will be I'm coming back to this to read to the team. Any questions on that? Um, that's the summary right there, right on time. That's the summary right there, folks, is as long as the music's playing, we're dancing. When it stops, we have a seat, folks. Now, if the music stops, your Microsoft, Amazon, it'll get hammered too, but it'll be less hammered, just like the dot-com boom, right? Just like the 2008, me and the Board of Trade, me and the Chicago Board Options Exchange. Um, when the music stopped in finance, do you remember Morgan Stanley or not? Merrill Lynch, the Thundering Herd, gone. Bear Stearns, gone. Lehman Brothers, 150-year-old company, gone in a weekend. So what survived? A JP Morgan, a Goldman Sachs, a Morgan Stanley, a Bank of America. Bank of America had to eat the Merrill Lynch Thundering Herd. So we'll be okay in an AI bubble burst, but some of the names in that AI portfolio might not be. When in doubt, run them off. Any questions on this? This was a great read. Well, David, you know what, man? That's not a bad. So the red team to your red team is exactly that. The Occupy Wall Street, the here comes Congress, here comes the Fed, you know, is a Warsh a Bernanke? Is he a Jerome Powell? Bernanke, 2008. Oh, I have to jump into safe capitalism. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you have to jump into safe capitalism, it's not capitalism. Things need to be able to fail. Well, enough of them failed, Wiz. I have to jump in at this point. Let the other crappy ones fail. The sun, ladies and gentlemen, as God promises, would have risen. It did rise the next day. I was there. Same thing in the COVID scandemic. Um, anyway, this is big. This was a big. I know the headline is, "Hey, six smart guys and Jensen around a table, and they're all." This is brilliant. It's the same thing with a different wrapper. Everybody understand this? So they are. And Richard, that's a great way to put it. They're looking for retail bag holders. You can't directly invest in Wizium AI Corp, but through your SPV you can. Yeesh. Ask what's his name, Chamath, about his SPVs. That was another weird Biden 2020 to 2024 weirdness. Like SPVs, what's it do? It's a blank check SPV. What's that mean? Well, you just give me money to my SPV and I figure out what I want to do with it. What? I need to make one of those. I mean, anyway. Is that what it is? Moore's law is slowing due to physical limits, rising costs, and longer cycle. Now it's closer to 3 years. Ooh, I did not get that update. I appreciate that. All right, let's start getting operational and tactical here. We already got the inflation tomorrow's PPI, folks. We'll see what the producer price index does tomorrow morning at 8:30. I don't care about University of Michigan stuff anymore. It's proven to be biased and wrong, and it'll most likely be bad. It's never complimentary to a Republican in office. Big Blue is Big Blue. How about this Al Saeed guy in Michigan? Football is toxic masculinity. To know the NFL team, and there's like a small NFL and college team in your state, couple college teams in your state. If Michigan elects this dude, I don't care anymore. I don't care about the Midwest. I don't care about New England, Massachusetts yesterday or the other day. Abortion up to the moment of birth and a Muslim state council. Did you just say Muslim and state? The same people who froth at the mouth about the separation of church and state and Christian, and can't do anything Christian with our government. Okay, Muslim stuff with the government in Massachusetts. The fuck is going on in New England and the Midwest? I don't care about the West Coast, man. I gave up on the West Coast a very long time ago, but man, New England, what a bunch of idiots. All right, so this is an interesting hover. 70, we have been pinned for one, two, three, for a week ish at 77.50. That's weird. When's the last time we had a hover? Maybe here, April-ish. But that's a strange hover. And why do I think we're having a hover? There's in my mastermind group, this 8,000, the S&P 8,000 talk. Do we have these September? First of all, the biggest thing on the radar is obviously Warsh. Big, the Bank of England's there, Bank of Canada. It's a big Fed conference, and he's the kind of all eyes of the world on Warsh. I get it. But you're telling me we're going to hover for the next 2 weeks? Okay, I'm here for it. Or do we break? I mean, we're starting to, we got this big MACD crossing down here at the beginning of the month. 2 weeks ago, we got a MACD crossing, and what did we do? I told you there's no life between the moving averages. It's no man's land. We either get snapped back up or we get pulled down to it. And at the time, that was my fifth 5 out of 5 tread right here, like just in case we get a snap down because Epic Fury, Trump, that was back when Trump was doing what? Biggest bombing ever since World War II, going to absolutely unbelievable, bombing, everybody bomb. And we didn't. So now we got this relief rally. But keep an eye on the hover, man. We're either going to break up or down. If you get a little dovish wash, at it's so funny though, because this is the guy, can he do this for 10 years? Can he sit there and be data from the enterprise, like, no emotion? Like, you're not gonna, I'm done with that. I'm not your Jerome Powell or Bernanke or, do you remember what's her name? Janet Yellen. I forget Janet Yellen was the Fed chief. What a joke. That lady was a joke too. Anyway, so keep an eye on the hover. If you're feeling it, maybe it is a, trudge time or something like that. I'm not feeling that because, as somebody posted earlier, earnings have been disgusting. Earnings have been insane. They've been great. We know Amazon, the names I care about have been awesome. There's been some misses, and mainly misses in the names I really don't care about. Okay, any other questions before we move on? Let's go psychedelics, folks. Doc Fisher, I know Larry's been on this. Yesterday he's like, oh my God, what's going on here? And I said intel like, hey, we're supposed to get a read this week on additional phase 3, some background on phase 3 stuff. So it was kind of a, sell the news and then buy the rumor. Or buy the facts. So we got good news out of Definium. Folks, you got to you have to take all this with a grain of salt. I screwed up yesterday, folks. We got down to 40.91 yesterday. And what did I tell you? I said, I'm going to buy Definium with both hands at $40. And what happened? It hit 40.91. And then today we got a 7% route. We were up 10% a little while ago. So Definium, don't worry about it. It was actually good stuff. And Doc, I think you posted it in here somewhere. Yeah, here it is right here. I posted that yesterday. I'm like, we're supposed to get additional info this week. So here we go. Phase 3 voyage study met primary and key secondary efficacy endpoints. Okay, so well tolerated in study, no new safety signals, no Suicidality signal. Folks, how many times I don't even listen to the commercials anymore. These, they show like a lady walking around with like a paper plate smiling face when she's really depressed and miserable, and finally she takes whatever, and now or it's not a smiling face, it's a frowny face, and then she walks around with one that like a little smile on her. It's creepy. But listen to the dude as like it's, they're at a picnic or whatever, and they try and show on the commercial like good life things going on. It's like Wizium 500 can make you want to kill yourself. You're going to have diarrhea and, suicidal ideation. And, you want to drive off a cliff really fast and really low. But do you hear some of the side effects on some of these antidepressant things? You want to kill yourself. Look at these. They are medicines, they are not drugs. Are you kidding me? I don't think I'm not going to speak for you. I don't know. I know for a fact the market price these things can do. Period. I think there's still a lot of disbelief. I know there might be people in this room with a lot of disbelief. You should see what it can happen in a 5-MeO DMT ceremony. Join us at the end of September. What a difference an hour can make, let alone a weekend. Don't believe it? I don't care. It happened to me. And I've seen hundreds of veterans, first responders, and family members we've helped. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are underpriced. These are insane. I know I'm preaching to the choir. Help was just insider selling. Let's go look at help. Help's up 10%, Mitch. What's your problem? This was people taking profits. I asked some people in my psychedelic network, and they're like, "Now is big seller." Hey, folks, are you kidding me? I mean, it's a $4 stock that got up to almost 12. Who's complaining? So, Mitch, zero, nothing wrong with Cybin. Add to it. It was a gift. So, Mitch, when you were concerned the other day that it went down 10% to $10, you should have sold the wife and kids and mortgaged the family and bought it again. There's zero wrong with Cybin. Nothing. Help. Helus. So, Rick, you should have been dollar cost averaging down here, man. It was $4 stock to 12. So it is. I get it. It was, I mean, what was it? When I left, what was Cybin? I get it, man. It was, but I absolutely am going to fault Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden in a picture right here. All of those names got destroyed. They all held the promise of what they're finally delivering on. I get it's 4 years later, but it doesn't matter. If you believed in all of this, you dollar cost average. I owned a ton of stock that I sold for a nice profit. But back here, I did get into it, whatever, $20 or whatever. So I just kept believing, right? So nothing with Cybin at all except profit taking. And this is what you do, man. Don't forget, folks, who is one of the major investors in Cybin? Say it with me, Bobby Axelrod. You guys all know this, right? 0.72. One of the biggest investors. His son was a Marine who healed with these compounds. So, folks, when you have one of the largest hedge fund, and I'm telling you, he is Bobby Axelrod. That's who they modeled billions after. So, folks, when somebody like that sneezes and says, "I'm going to take some profit," of course the stock's going to get hammered. But what do, Mitch? Right? Some profit. Done. Buy it again. Whoop. We almost got back exactly what we went down. So gap down, it filled the gap and it's going up. So I have nothing for Cybin other than greatness. It's in our psychedelic report. A tie, I'm done with. I can't believe I just said it because I promised I'd never say those words again in my life. You're dead to me. I will say it. A tie is my Fredo. When you come to see our mother, I want to know a day in advance so I'm not here. I've had it. Anger Mare, now he crypto bro, psychedelics. Now he's into peptides. Ladies and gentlemen, and I posted this the other day in the thing. Did you see it? There are, if you can trade 100,000 shares in this name, there's people making money in dimes in here. It's automated, right? It's an AI black box. It's in here doing this. Look at this. You see that? Isn't that funny? But if that happens, you're screwed. There's bots in here trading and trading and trading, and but AI, I've had it. You're dead to me, Fredo. I got passed over, Mike. A tie got passed over. Send a tie to the airport. That's I they maybe something good happens. Maybe well, it's too late. They signed the deal, right? Eli Lilly's got Gates. Like, if you meet this, we'll get you more. I hope the deal falls through. Karen, that's saying a lot. You've been here a while. Karen saying, but it's true. It's true. I feel these things, man. I was on the Joe Piscopo radio show this morning, and I had another Godfather reference because he was like, "What about the mullahs?" I'm like, I can't believe the Mossad hasn't gone Luca Brasi. I can't believe the mullahs, the new one, isn't sleeping with the fishes. And he was laughing. He was like, "Ah, I love it." Nice Godfather reference here. Okay. Or the train station. Exactly. Yes. All right. So a tie. We're done. And it's sad. I don't want to trade Eli Lilly. It's $1,000 stock or whatever. It's good because what a tie's doing is good. The nasal. So if you join the retreat, our serum, it's not a retreat, not some yoga wellness thing. We are a church. If you want to join our fellowship and sit in the ceremony, it's not a retreat. I need to stop saying that. Um, it's going to be old school sacrament. A tie, intranasal, and this is perfect for my beautiful Susan because she's not a smoker, right? The inhaling of the 5-MeO DMT, some people can't. She's like, I can't inhale. I've never been able to like inhale something into my lungs. I mean, hell, snorkeling is a nightmare for her. It's just a mental block. Um, so this delivery vehicle for people who want to sit with this, uh, it's better. Okay. So, all right. So, any questions? I sent out a new tactical trade alert with the new trade I do today on Definium. If you did that, you're happy because you're already making money. Anybody need anything Definium? Okay. Uh, I think I should just do this to be honest with you because I missed it. I said I'd get in at 40 and I missed it yesterday. Um, so that sucks. Let me, do I just bite the bullet here, man? I mean, look at that spike. It got up to pre-market, it was up to like $48. So maybe I just bite the bullet and get in. So, Compass, I have my existing position on. Any questions with Compass? Um, I have my synthetics. Whoa, that was a nice pop today. 1540, man. I have short calls I probably need to keep an eye on here. Folks, this morning I was up 300 grand in my one of my bullish on America positions. Now it's down 10 grand. It's so funny watching those things. I don't even look at them anymore. But I probably need to manage these short calls. I'm going to do that. I have short 13s that are, clearly underwater here. I'm going to roll these up to the 14s. I got three of them, so I'm just going to roll these up before I forget about it. They expire next week, but might as well. Any questions on the psychedelic names? Anybody need new ones? TJ, you could do that. Yeah, you could. always look at selling the cash secured puts, right? The AUG 40s. Yeah. It's the same profile as a covered call, right? A cash secured put. Yeah, let me look at that. I still think so. You know what? Let me give you this. Here's what's going to be going on with Definium. And actually, I'm gun shy with my Nvidia stupidity. Look at an Iron Condor, man, on this name. Because why? We're not going to see anything until Q4. These are potential Iron Condor names now. Why? Because they're going to hang until what we have defined dates now. Premiums are going to start coming in on these options because look at that. Once something's known, it's known, right? Um, and the market ain't going to pay you for certainty, right? They will pay you for uncertainty. We have defined dates. I just briefed you on the NDAs, right? Comp 360. We're going to submit in Q4, and hopefully the FDA is not lying to us. Like we're going to approve it like never before. Nobody's approved better than our current FDA, and then we're going to rip. So same thing with Definium. When you have defined dates, the only recent defined thing with Definium was this week. They said, "Hey, we're going to release some updated info on phase 3 stuff." I love that these companies are doing this. Hey, by the way, we have no changes, nothing bad happening, and kind of the good continuing. That's great news. But the big catalysts are known. I don't think, I mean, read our 12-page psychedelic report. There shouldn't be any surprises like breaking news, Definium just failed at phase 3. That ain't going to happen. They've already passed all of them. And they're in the hanging out, maintaining phase until we submit NDAs. So enough rambling about it. Is there premium? Like we're at 45 right now. Is there a 50, 40, Iron Condor? Let's go. We could look at a month Iron Condor like we used to do in the old days before insanity hit everybody. 40, 39. I'm just spitballing here, folks. But you know what? You're not going to get filled. The bid ask is literally insane. Look at that. I mean, technically, a market maker has to make a market, but they don't, at the price, they're not going to meet your price, Wiz. Exactly. Let's go 49.50 since we're a little skewed. Whoa. But when I see a chart like that settling and stop, I hate not having two computers and my mouse and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, yeah. Do we come up a little bit? 42, 4. I'm just spitballing here, folks. When I see a chart that says, hey, we're going to hang for a little bit, can you make some money off the hang? 47, 48. No, man. I wonder if you can even get filled on something like, no. It's so, never mind. Yeah, that doesn't work. Bob, I have help these 10 covered calls on my synthetic stock. No, you don't, Rick, Bob. Let's fix that language right now. We're Top Gun. We need to fix our language. You do not have covered calls unless you what? Own the shares. You do not own the shares with synthetic stock. Very, very critical. You can't. Don't even if you know what you're talking about, don't talk like that to our illustrious members. I absolutely. What's the expiration? You have Decembers. Oh my God, get out of those. Get out. I can't. You're making my hand shake. Somebody could exercise those right now, man. They are in the money. They're 10% in the money right now, and they're that far out. Somebody who's like, man, I'd love to do that right now. You would be assigned short shares like today, right now. That could be happening. If somebody's an insider and goes, oh my God, I know something that awesome is going to happen. No, 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 do that right now. Get out. That's out to December? Why'd you go that far, man? No. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go that far out in time on psychedelic names and sell anything upside. Or if anything, folks, you do what I am doing. And it's not far out. I have what? I ratio them. What's that mean? You leave some naked to run. Everybody see this, right? I have synthetic stock at 10, a protective put at 7, at 5, but I only sold 3 of the AUG. Why? In case breaking news, Jesus has come back and he's the CEO of Compass and the stock's ripping. I have at least 2 contracts here that can run. Bob, do you understand this? I'm so glad you asked this, man. This is a great Obama teachable moment. Get out of those short calls, man. You are not covered and you are running the risk of early assignment right now. Right now. Good. Anybody confused about that? Anybody not understand the education we just had here? I'm glad he asked that. Do not go far out in time and sell upside calls against these names. Far out in time is what? Where the FDA is going to be approving these names. No, 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 no. And in a sense, um, Bob, you're Superman in your cape, flying around picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. You're going to get rolled. Even the Man of Steel is going to get rolled. Don't do it. Don't. I'm a little leery selling front August or September, even though I know that most of the stuff is couple months away. Good news. The other thing is this, Bob. Breaking news: Pfizer just bought Cybin for $1 trillion. The stock's up 50%. You would get destroyed. You would be assigned immediately and you'd be negative as shit. Like you would get wiped out. Don't do this. The more I'm talking about it, I'm getting agita. Woo. Everybody understand this. Okay. If you're lucky, Bruce, right? you got to be you got to be you got to be quick on that. Folks, because remember, man, those the short calls and the assignment of that short stock would be exponential, man. He obviously would have to immediately exercise or yeah, close the synthetic stock for profit, but you would get wiped out more with the short calls. 100% math. So, thank you, Bob, for asking that. I'm so glad you asked that, and I'm glad I could help out. That's freaking me the fuck out right now. But I'm glad you got synthetic stock and it's making money. But man, don't remember, folks, and let me be clear. Not only just synthetic stock in these names, any synthetic stock. If you don't want to do this, right, Wiz, I don't want to manage short calls or hey, run the risk of whatever. Don't. This can be your father and mother's stock market trade. I bought shares in Amazon and I'm sitting on them. Great. That's what synthetic stock can be to you. The selling of short calls against the synthetic, not long stock, you don't own the shares, is a nice little way to potentially get it paid for. Okay, so I know there are some members who are doing synthetic stock in these names and they're not doing shit with short calls or whatever. They've moved from being lottery ticket names. I'm ditching that term to these are grown-up names. So also know that you don't have to do all the stuff that I'm talking about. Exactly. Or do what Rick said, just sell bear call spreads against it. Or bull put spreads if the name's going up. Short calls against these small farmers is practicing ballistic podiatry. Wow. I have not heard that, and that's funny. It is an options weapon school moment. Yep. Yeah, so just, sell do some front month spreads. Just be very careful about the short calls, folks. I don't, because every 6 months in a row, every once in a while, I get a new member or somebody who's like, "Hey, I just woke up with a negative 200 shares in my account." I'm like, ah, and don't listen to me, even though I've lucked out. Was it CBOE? No, even that. I don't want to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this because it's just truth. I don't wear any masks anymore. I think I'm 100% on my assignment. Like the last time was like going to the podcast studio. I'm like, oh, CBOEs. Yeah, literally it popped and went through my short strike on like expert. The guy who says don't let any calls expire in the money, like months ago, I got nailed with one of them because it was one of those pop. I'm like, oh, Monday, the stock opened down and I made money. So I don't want to say this, but I'm surgical. And no, I'm not. I'm lucky. I've been lucky on, I think, my entire career, folks, on like, whoa, holy crap, I got assigned. And then the next trading day, usually the Monday, it was a long weekend every time, folks. Do you remember the one during I think it was after COVID, like Amazon. I had like an Amazon moment because I had a closing order in on some short calls, like 50 of them. And and I'm like, well, I can't get assigned. I have an order in. Wrong. I woke up Saturday morning, folks, with like 6,000 shares. This was when I was trading, my low seven-figure portfolio. I was like, oh my God. Talk about a long weekend. I was on the phone at like 6 a.m. I like sat there for 2 hours talking to the dude. I'm like, I'm not doing this. We're doing this together. You have direct access. Thank the Lord in heaven. Amazon opened Monday down a little bit. I got out and I think I made 12 grand on the short. What happened later? I swear God did that to teach me a lesson because after I got out and I made whatever it was, 12, I think it was a lot. It was nice. I'm like, there's no way this happened. The entire weekend I was sick. I made 12 grand. The stock rallied the rest of the day. Like I did the math, I would have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars had I not like closed that short immediately. So, Uncle Wiz's lessons learned here, man. Don't be careful with these. Everybody got that. Been there, done that. You remember that, Karen? Exactly. Exactly, man. This is just, it was Amazon. I remember this, man. I remember, and that was, I learned something. I learned something new every day. Otherwise, why are you here? The broker's like, no, no, no. I'm like, man, if you have a closing order in on that position, like, nope, thank you. That had never happened to me before, and it hasn't happened since. I'm like, that closing order is not protecting me. Microsoft, oh shit, man, I went on a long ramble, folks. My apologies. No clue. Folks, if you like Microsoft, buy it right now today. This is obscene. Gap up on earnings. Filled the gap with? No, it hasn't looked back. I want Microsoft to pull back a little bit for people. Folks, 553 bucks. Are you insane? So, absolutely zero pullback on fundamentals, folks. This is a buy with both hands. My God, that's a beautiful chart. Are you insane? Earnings, it was 390 bucks. It got up to 500. Man, when in doubt, run to Ma. This is what a beautiful position. Microsoft is well, let's go look. Yeah, of course, my name, gap up on massive earnings, and it is starting to fill the gap a little bit. I rolled my calls down yesterday. Did you guys roll them down? Might be able to roll them down again. Let's take even more. I rolled down the 280s and they're at 80% profit. You adjust, you roll them down again. Let's make even more money. Roll down. What are we at? Shall go down to 275s. And that's not a good looking chart. It's starting to really give up the ghost a little bit here on Amazon. You could go down to the 272 and a half. It is Wednesday, halfway through the week. There's a little bit more premium in those. I'll do that. I'm going to roll those down. Again, be very careful. We just talked about all that. So, but you are, hey man, that's about 400 bucks so far in Amazon profit on these short calls this week. That goes right to the bottom line, helps pay off that Amazon position. All right. Susie wanted to go like 15 minutes ago to campus and get Keely. My apologies. All right, so crap. Well, if I some of the things what's Raytheon? Let's look real quick at Raytheon CBOE. I went long and I was going to go short today. Raytheon. All right, good. JP Morgan. Keep an eye on. I love JP Morgan. Look at that. I mean, God. We put on a bull put spread and it's beauty. Everybody happy with your bull put spread on JP Morgan? You're welcome. CBOE. That I like that. I like that. We got a 275 was kind of that resistance. I hope we don't get down there, but up 50% with JP Morgan, the bull put spread, ladies and gentlemen. If you make 50% in a day, take a look at your SOP. But that's a week out, right? So I love it. So I love it. Good stuff. Why can't? Okay. Barry, I got an overnight call from Schwab saying that I have a 600,000 margin call on Amazon bull put, but I exercised the long leg on Monday and got out with a loss that was reasonable. Everybody read what Barry just wrote. Yeah, don't be Barry or Wiz. So manage any positions that is closer at the money or in the money, folks. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Yeah. So Jenny, all week they have been loading August SEP calls on Compass. I'm telling you, Jenny, in Q4, they're going to submit that NDA, and it's going to be the first psychedelic company submitting a new drug application to that. I keep saying mom and pop are waking up to this. They really are. Mom and pop will really, really super wake up to this, and so will big farmers already wake when they see a psychedelic company submit a new drug application. Really, we're really going to see mom and pop go, whoa, 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 what is all this stuff? And we've been here first, right? All right, for all my YouTubers, this is going to count as your market intel brief since I'm going to go get our daughter our last day together. Go.topconoptions.com/tactical-alerts-register. Next Wednesday night at 7, I'm going to brief you on our tactical trade alert service. You can go get access to that psychedelic report, the Bullish on Merica report, and the AI report. And then for all my seekers, man, obviously Sacred Warrior Fellowship, we are open to everybody, veterans, first responders, families, and civilians. Our end of August retreat has a bunch of civilians joining our fellowship, and I'm just so humbled and honored that our fellowship is growing, man. This is fantastic. It's good stuff. I love doing this. So if you're interested in the end of September retreat, August is closed. We're full. We actually do have people hanging out on a wait list just in case. They're going to be slid to September. If you are interested in 5-MeO DMT, man, go listen to my podcast again, or go listen to other people in their 5-MeO DMT experiences. They are incredibly powerful. Enjoy. My two girls leave tomorrow for second year of college. It is sad, David, isn't it? It's just bittersweet. I mean, they're spreading their wings and they're flying, which is just great. So good on you for for having your two girls and doing the work, right, David? It's a grind, and everybody out there. So, all right, guys, great week up here in Oxford. Heading home early tomorrow morning. I'll be back in the office. I'll be doing our Monday solo AI brief from Boulder, man, and Coach Prime. Hopefully, they do something this year, man. A lot of promise when he showed up to Boulder, and he was a bottle rocket. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. All right, folks, have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste and whiz out. God bless and love you guys. Cheers.